Hi there, this is Ian Wright here, and I'm just going to continue the series on restoration practices. Kind of, I suppose, they're designed, for if our energy's low and we need to restore our energy back to us, and if we're feeling tired. It's always, I think, also a good starting point for any kind of meditation is to actually allow your energy to come back into you. Kind of all your kind of fulcrums, all our thoughts and actions take us in a million directions energetically. And if we can kind of come back in, it's a really good beginning start before we can do any kind of meditational or contemplative or creative even practices. So this is the second one, and these little series of ones I think they're adaptations of Taoist practices from a long time ago. Some of them are up to 700,000 years old, I think. Some of them certainly 500 years old, and I've kind of adapted them a little bit to bring them into how I work. I'm doing that because I'm always teaching meditative stuff and teaching a variety of different practices, and I kind of adapt them to what works for me, and just to share that really, and I hope you'll adapt these things to what works for you. It's just I think about sharing stuff. Really, that this kind of works, let's do that kind of thing. So this is entitled Embryonic Breathing, and some Taoists would call it reverse breathing, and it's a quite simple practice to explain, but actually takes a little practice. What these practices takes a little practice to do. But if you can do it, I think it is actually a really strongly restorative practice, and actually can lead you to a very nice, nurturing stillness. And anyway, what the principle of it is to actually breathe in the opposite way to what we've become used to breathing. And we're going to breathe in a way as an embryo breathes. And embryos do actually move through their developing lung fields. They actually do take in fluid, amniotic fluid, when they're in utero. So it's not a true breath until the circulation changes. They take a first breath when you're first born, and the whole system switches to lung breathing. Oxygenation, actually, in an embryo comes, of course, through the umbilical cord placenta. So what we're going to do, in some ways, what this does is takes us back to cellular memory, really, of what it's like to be breathing in utero. And it's quite nice to do. So I'm going to just go straight into it, and I will just talk you through the practice. So sit comfortably and quietly, and what I want you to do is to allow your attention to slowly come towards your breathing, and just let your breathing relax and quieten and soften, and do the usual thing if there's any remnant thoughts, feelings, stuff that is going on in your head. Just let it be, allow it, let it be, but don't attach to them. Just bring your attention very gently back to something quiet in your breath, and just let your body relax, soften, and quieten down. And what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we have an umbilical cord where our umbilicus is, and it's big. So an umbilical cord in a baby is huge. It's not this tiny little cord you see, when an embryo at the beginning of life, it's big in its comparison. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe on our in-breath in through our belly button. It's the kind of opposite to what you're used to doing. And then you breathe out, back through it. So when you breathe in, every time you breathe in, you're kind of allowing your energy to come back into you through your tummy. And you're breathing out, you're relaxing. So every out-breath is calming and softening and relaxing. Every in-breath is you're restoring your energy back to you through your umbilicus. And just try that for a minute. Well, it's difficult to perceive it at the very beginning, but with a little bit of practice, actually, it can become quite easy. And often when I'm doing, say, Tai Chi or Qigong practices, it naturally it comes up for itself. You naturally start breathing in this kind of umbilical or embryonic breathing manner. So back to the in-breath, where it's like you can almost draw your tummy in a little bit, as opposed to letting it come out. So you're kind of, that's it. But make sure it's comfortable, it feels calm and relaxing, and every out-breath is a release, a softening, a quietening. And every in-breath, you're drawing your energy in through that tummy button. Just take a few minutes to kind of get used to that quality of in-breath through the umbilicus. You're not taking in air actually through the umbilicus, but you're kind of restoring your energy field through it. And it can feel like it is, you are breathing through it. It's funny how we can, if we change our attentional awareness on our breath, we can feel like we're breathing into any part of our body. Actually, I'll do a podcast on those kind of healing breaths as well another time, because it's very helpful. But we can feel like we're breathing in. Actually, it feels like we're breathing in through our tummy. And it's an amazing kind of feeling. Once you've got a qualitative sense of that nice, calm, umbilical, embryonic breathing, I just want you to widen your attentional awareness and see yourself in this warm, fluid, calm field, which is deeply nurturing and protective and safe. And you're held quietly in this space. And in this quiet, fluid space where you're nurtured and protected, you're breathing in. And as you breathe in, you're breathing your energy back into you. And you're breathing vitality and nutrition and peace and nurture. So we're in this beautiful embryonic field where we're held. And the interesting thing about an embryo is they are perfect. An embryo is perfect. Every growth action, every function of the embryo is unerringly perfect. And otherwise we wouldn't be here. And it's incredible, and it doesn't matter what kind of pregnancy, what kind of whatever, none of that's relevant here. We're going back to the perfect embryonic breathing, which is life, and it's deeply nurturing. And if we can get a qualitative feeling experience of that perfect embryonic breathing within this warm fluid field, which is safe and nurturing, it can actually lead us into a very still, quiet, restorative place where you can just be for a while. And if you get a feeling sense of that quality, you can go back to it if you're feeling stressed or upset or anything. You just start breathing embryonically and feel that soft fluid field that protects you. And it can be a place of rest and refuge in your sensorium, in your senses, and your memory, and your sensual memory. So just practice that technique and, well, use it if it's helpful. I find it good. I find it a nice practice. I wish you well. And I'll come back with another restorative practice in the next couple of days.